This week in my training for the Transgrancanaria Classic, I do 3 interval sessions. I do a zone 3 flat long run and I cheat at Parkrun. Let's get into episode 2, week 2 of the Transgrancanaria training series. If you want to catch up on week 1 of my training, then click that link up there. That'll take you to episode 1 of the training series. Now, what is Transgrancanaria? Well, it is a 120 something kilometre race, depending on your GPS and whether you go wrong or not. And it goes from the top of Gran Canaria in the capital, Las Palmas, all the way through the middle of the country, all the way down to the tourist town at the bottom called Maspalomas. During the course of the race, you'll climb over 6,000 metres of elevation gain. You'll pass through some beautiful towns like Tejeda, and you'll go up to the most iconic point of the race, Roque Nublo. The elite runners usually get there around dawn when the sun is rising. It's absolutely spectacular then. The rest of us get there in the baking hot sunshine in the middle of the day. The terrain is arguably very runnable. Of course, you're climbing 6,000 metres, so there's a lot to slow you down in terms of the elevation that you're doing. However, underfoot, mostly it's okay. It's fairly rocky, it can be sandy. There's a few sections where there's boulders that you have to run over, especially at the end when you're very tired. There is a riverbed that everybody complains about. But other than that, it actually could be, on a good day, a pretty fast course. The problem is, of course, the weather. Well, it has been for me on the 2 occasions I've run it before. The first year I did it, 2020, just before the pandemic, was absolutely baking hot. Anybody who follows me on this channel knows that although I love the summer and I love hot weather, I can't run in it. And it drains your energy, it saps you, especially on those long climbs. If it's baking hot and you're exposed to the sun, my goodness, your energy disappears. The second time I ran Transgrancanaria, nobody expected this. Although there was forecast to be some bad weather on the tops of the mountain, we never expected it to be as bad as it was. And if you've not seen it, click that link up there. That will show you my 2022 Transgrancanaria Classic. I have never run in such freezing conditions. Most people who went up there were unprepared. I didn't have any gloves, and we froze, and a lot of people DNF'd because it was so cold, so windy, and not at all what anyone expected in 2022. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, if you think you're going to find the series useful or interesting, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. It's totally free. If you want to pay, you can become a member of the Film My Run channel for as little as £1 a month. So I'd really appreciate if you consider one of those options. Also, got to thank my sponsor for this series, which is Flying Burrito. I'm wearing the Safari shirt today. Absolutely fantastic, isn't it? You will be, if you wear a Flying Burrito shirt at a race, you are guaranteed to be the best dressed runner in the race. So Flying Burrito, there is a link in the description for you to get money off your Flying Burrito shirt. And if you're interested in a branded Film My Run Flying Burrito shirt, do please get in touch with Flying Burrito. Last week, one very lucky viewer contacted Flying Burrito and they had, luckily, a Film My Run patch left over from the batch that they sent me. And this chap managed to get a branded Film My Run Flying Burrito shirt. So if enough of you contact Flying Burrito, they may be willing to do a run of Flying Burrito Film My Run branded shirts. Check that out, that's what you would get. Okay, let's now have a look at my training from week 2. Monday was track day. So every Monday I go to the track when I'm not away, and I do track session with Worthing Harriers, my club. And this week it was 5 times 3 minutes with a 90-second rest. Now, normally for me, I would expect to do about 800 meters in 3 minutes, but because we just had Christmas I gave myself a bit of a break and I started a little slower than that. So for the first 3 minutes, I was just shy of 800 meters. And then I started to ramp it up as I realized I was feeling okay. And I did it as a progressive. So every 3 minutes, I did more and more distance. And for the last one, I managed to get well over 800 meters. So that really was a nice little confidence boost on Monday to get that session done and feel relatively good about it. Tuesday I dropped the intensity right down. So I did filming for episode 1 of this series on Tuesday morning. We did 10 miles, very comfortable, lots of stopping for filming. And then in the evening, I was out with the club again and we ran 10K, again, nice and easy. So a good amount of distance on Tuesday, 26 kilometers, but all at very low intensity, zones 1 and 2, maybe a little bit into 3 as well, but certainly keeping well away from those top zones. Looks like they've relayed this path since I was last here. It's too easy to forget how lucky we are as trail runners to come to places like this. The South Downs, that's over towards Brighton in the distance there. Devil's Dyke, if you've heard of Devil's Dyke, that's just over there. We're not on the South Downs Way just yet, but if we get to this sign here, so this fairly new signpost with the acorn showing that it's a national trail, South Downs Way up there, and we'd have to cross the road here to just get onto the South Downs Way, which goes kind of that way and then turns. But we're on this public bridle way here and we're heading back the way we've just come. On Wednesday, we upped the intensity again with another interval session, this time on Zwift, on the treadmill. If you'd like to watch all my live Zwift broadcasts, go to this website here, zwift.run, and you'll find the schedule of when I'm running on Zwift and when I'm broadcasting live. The session was 2 sets of 90 seconds on, 1 minute off. So we did 4 reps, each rep increasing in speed. Once we finished those first 4 reps, we had a 5-minute recovery, and then we did another set of 4 reps, each one increasing in speed again. So really good session on the treadmill on Wednesday. Now, you know, I said I did 3 interval sessions in week 2. Well, Thursday morning, we did that 3rd one, but the intensity was much lower. We were doing hill reps, up and down an 800-meter hill. It's Thursday morning, and I'm on one of my regular hill rep locations. It's a concrete path about 800 meters long, and I do hill reps on this quite regularly when I'm training for a race. Today I'm going to do 10k, doing some of it walking and some of it running, and it's a climb of about 80 meters, so 80 meters elevation in 1 rep of 800 meters distance. I did 6 reps. I did it with some walking, I did it with walking poles, and that was partly to replicate what I will be doing for much of the climbing in Gran Canaria, because we're not going to be running up all those hills, and I am going to be using my poles. So we need to practice walking up hills, we need to practice using those poles. Thursday evening, well, it was a very easy, nice, relaxed 5k on the treadmill. It's 9 kilometers an hour, 5 kilometers, using an app called MyWhoosh this time, not Zwift, just for a bit of a change. So you'll notice so far we've had 2 double days. So Tuesday was a double day, run in the morning, run in the evening, and Thursday was a double day, run in the morning, run in the evening. Friday I was back on Zwift, running 13 kilometers as part of our spring marathon training series that I'm doing on Zwift. We do that every year for the past 4 years anyway. An interval session on a Wednesday and a medium-ish long run on a Friday, nice and easy, low heart rate. That was Friday's session. So Monday was high intensity. Wednesday was high intensity, and on Saturday we went and did Parkrun, and I went for another high intensity session, another speed session. Tried to go fairly fast at Cranleigh Parkrun, which was my Nendy, my nearest event that I haven't done yet. Unfortunately, I ended up cheating. Now, it was accidental. This was a 2-lap course. The first lap went off absolutely fine. On the second lap, I found myself on my own, and there was nobody in front of me that I could see to show me which way to go. The thing is, the course is very well marked. There are cones on the floor, and I thought I would film some of these cones. Just as I say on the video, to be fair, the course is laid out very well. There are cones to stop you going in the wrong direction. I go and film the cones, and I run straight through the curve of the cones onto a path that isn't part of the Parkrun course. Now, because I did that, I ended up cutting, I think about 40 meters, 40, maybe 50 meters off that Parkrun course. So what do we think? That's about 20 seconds, maybe 15, 20 seconds for 40 meters. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I did technically cut the course at Parkrun on Saturday. I'm sure they'll forgive me. Comment down below if you don't forgive me, if you think I've cheated and I need to go and apologise and strike my results from the Power of 10 website. Sunday is of course long run day, and I needed about 20k to get myself to my 100-kilometre weekly goal. But there was an event on, organised by Sussex Trail Events, who are a company here in Sussex who do some fantastic races, some very bizarre races as well. And they were organising a retro Worthing marathon. Many years ago in the 80s, there was a marathon in Worthing. There is no longer. And so the guys at Sussex Trail Events organised a run around the old route, the route that the marathon took. Now, I didn't want to do a full marathon, but it just so happened that at around 23 kilometres into the marathon, we passed almost by my house. So I joined in and ran 23k, just over 23k, to get me back to my house and to cover my 100 kilometres of distance for the week. The problem is, of course, when you run with others, you do get carried away. So I found myself running a little bit quicker than I would normally do on a long run. And I got well into zone 3. So if you look at the spreadsheet for this week, you'll see there's quite a lot of zone 3 running, and that pretty much all comes from that one long run on Sunday. Now, here on the Film My Run channel, we are big advocates of the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your weekly running is low heart rate, easy runs. 20% is hard effort. Now, you're never going to stick to that exactly, and there are lots of different ways to define what counts as a hard run and what counts as easy running. But I tend to break it down into 3 things: distance run, number of activities done, or heart rate percentage. So if you look at the spreadsheet here, you can see that I've done about 13% of my weekly running in heart rate zones 4 and 5. So not quite 80-20, about 13% in heart rate zones 4 and 5. But if we go down to activities done, so we count the number of activities in the week where I've run hard. And out of the 12 activities, I've run 3 of those as a hard effort. So Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday were all hard efforts. So that's actually 25% of my weekly running was hard effort. But then if we look at the distance I've run, so I've run about 103 kilometers, and around 17 of those kilometers were hard effort. So that's just under 17%. Now, you're never going to get exactly 80-20 every single week spot on. And that's not really the point. It's a guide, it's giving you an idea of the level of effort you're putting in each week. You know, if you're only doing 1 kilometre of hard effort a week, then clearly that's not enough. If you're doing 50% of your runs in zone 4 and 5, then you're probably doing too much and risking injury and fatigue. That's the point of 80-20. It's to protect you from getting injured, from getting too tired, but also to encourage you to make sure you do your hard efforts. So I really hope that inspires you to get out there this week and do some work, get that training in. If you need to do a long run, get that long run done. Don't procrastinate. Get out the door and do your long run. If you need to do a hard session where you get your heart rate into zone 4 and zone 5, get out there and do it. Nobody else is going to do it for you. It's all on you. So let's get out there and smash those training goals this week. Thank you very much for watching. Massive thanks to my sponsor, Flying Burrito. Like I said, there is a code in the description if you want to get some money off a Flying Burrito shirt and be the best looking runner at your local race. If you want to watch the last episode of the training series, then click that link right there, I think, something like that, and you'll be taken to episode 1 of the training series so you can catch up. And I will see you guys on the start line next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. So I've just been filming this episode and I thought I was a faster runner than I am. I'm actually late for a meeting. I'm in trouble now.